guys, it's Ilana. Welcome back to my channel. We need to talk about a serious topic that I have many opinions on, and I know being a commentary channel, or well, making commentary videos, I should say, there are always going to be people in the comments saying like, oh my god, you're so judgy, like why do you care what people do, blah 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 blah. And let me tell you something, this is so much bigger than that, because this is probably one of the worst families that I've ever seen on TikTok and just on social media throughout this year. And I got a lot of opinions, and if anybody wants to tell me that I am being judgy, I'm gonna fight you in the comments because I have a very good reason to judge, and I know I'm not the only one who has this opinion. So we need to talk about it because I absolutely cannot stand what is going on with this family and the poor decision-making skills that these people make. I also wanted to share my opinion on this is because the resilient Jenkins family lives in Portland, Oregon, which is exactly where I live. So I felt really inclined to make a video seeing that it takes place in the city that I live in. I'm familiar with laws and some resources that are provided by the state that these families could use but choose to not use them. And also, before we get into it, because if anyone wants to judge me for thinking that I'm criticizing this family being poor, that is absolutely not the case. I'm gonna just say that this family lives in a 1-bedroom shared by 6 people going on 7. That is not the issue. It's the way that they're going about it. And once again, I am mad about the poor choices and the decisions that they are making, and that these parents are not doing their best for their children. So before you comment being like, oh, well, she's just the mama bear trying her best. No, she's fucking not. All right, enough of that, let's get into it. So you're probably wondering, who are the resilient Jenkins family? So it combines of Stephanie Lynn Thompson and Andrew Jenkins. So they are a family of 6 going on 7. Stephanie is pregnant with her 5th child, so they have 4. Andrew has 1 kid, Stephanie has 2, but we'll get into more about Andrew's fathership in a second because he has more than just 1 kid. And Stephanie has 2 from a previous marriage, and apparently she's still married to him. We'll also get into that. And then Andrew and Stephanie had another kid together who's living there, and now they are pregnant with another kid that they have together. So family of 6 going on 7. They're sharing a 1-bedroom apartment in a really not so great area in Portland, which happens to be illegal, by the way. According to Oregon state laws and Portland city laws, you cannot have that many people living in a 1-bedroom. The max you can have is 3. And I understand that times are very tough, but at the same time, this is still going against the law, and also the conditions that these children are living in is what makes it even worse. They are a family that does not make a lot of money, and it wouldn't surprise me if they are getting some government assistance, which there's nothing wrong with. And I just want to say that this couple is also not married. Stephanie keeps saying hubby, hubby, hubby in all of her videos, but they're not married. She's still married to her abusive ex-husband. Now that you know the background of these people, let's talk about the actual situation at play and the video that started all of this controversy.
As you can read in the caption above, we're a family of 6 going on 7 living in a 1-bedroom apartment. As the kids grow older, that means we constantly have to adapt our environment to give them more means for privacy and extra space. When outside our environment appears cluttered, disorganized, what have you. But quite frankly, after making do for nearly 3 years now, I have nothing but a grateful spirit for the roof over our head. Generally, the instant judgment me and my husband receive, why have so many kids if you don't have enough space for them? See, my perception is judgment comes from a place of not having the experience. When you've experienced enough, you generally don't judge people. I can tell you after everything I've been through in the past 3 years, there's very little I have to judge people on. I would be lying if I said there wasn't a point in my life that I was so naive that I might have judged a poor person based off their appearance. And like I said, I have learned a lot. I generally look like I'm roughing it, but that's because our kids come first. I do everything I can to keep our environment clean and tidy. When it comes down to it, I could shove everything my kids have in 1 bedroom of some of these houses I see, and it would really look like nothing. We try to teach our kids to take care of what they have, be grateful for what we have. We keep praying and pushing for the growth that we want. Appreciate y'all watching. See you in the next video.
So after you watch that video, she is saying, oh, don't judge me. You don't know my situation. And people like to judge because they haven't lived that experience. And I call total bullshit. Because there have been a couple of creators on TikTok who have come forward saying that this is something that they have lived growing up, that they have lived through before growing up, and they have a terrible relationship with their parents. They know what it's like to grow up poor and having to share a small place with a bunch of siblings. And they always say that it was a terrible time and a miserable experience. And this is something that they hate seeing for their children. So, yes, we are going to judge because what you're doing is not right and is absolutely neglect to these poor kids. I just don't understand why these children are living in the living room, or not just living, but sleeping in the living room and in the kitchen, especially the kitchen, for crying out loud. It's disgusting. They are so close to sharp objects. Also, these kids are right by the front door where they could easily get out, or if they had a break-in, those kids are in absolute danger. This is not in the best interest for the kids' safety whatsoever. And don't even get me started on the sleeping arrangements, because these kids were sleeping on foam pads and they don't even have beds or mattresses, which is just so freaking neglectful. You cannot tell me that this woman is doing her best to raise her kids, because this is not doing your best. There are so many resources out there where you can literally get free mattresses and beds. I'm telling you, there's so many resources in Portland that have those things, or they sell them for cheap prices, because I can tell you one thing, these people act like they're poor, but I think they have more money than what they say they do, especially now that they're going viral on TikTok where they're making money off of their videos. And it's honestly kind of exploitive and disgusting. Elsa agrees with me. Stephanie has gone on to explain that she's been in this situation for a few years now. So she and her kids moved into Andrew's place. So this was Andrew's place. And so they have the bedroom, so they get to have the privacy. I know, Elsa, it is so fucked up. She has also claimed in one of her videos that the kids don't have beds because they broke them and that the kids are destructive, so they are not giving them beds as a form of punishment, which is absolutely disgusting and, once again, borderline abusive and extremely neglectful. I don't care how destructive or wild or rambunctious your kids are, they still deserve a bed to sleep on. This is not something you punish your kids over. Punishing your kids would be like taking away their phone privileges because they did something wrong, taking away TV time because they did something wrong, not taking a bed away from them. It really bothers me that Mom and Dad have a whole private room to themselves with 2 TVs, a PS5, LED lights, and a king-size bedroom. Oh, and all of the gardening materials that they have to hotbox their room to keep the kids out, and also a way for them to make more babies. Because Stephanie has talked about how she does not want to stop having children when she is in no place to continue to be having more children, especially in such a small space to begin with. Just like other people who have talked about this online, I also think that they have a breeding kink. If you do not have the space and the means to accommodate that breeding kink, then you should probably rethink your kinks or wait till you have a bigger space to accommodate your breeding kink. Because that's how I see it, because she is so obsessed with wanting babies, but again, you do not have this space for it. Oh, and to make this even worse, they have cats. Don't get me wrong, I love cats, but I also feel bad for these cats because these cats have had fleas. I don't know about you, but fleas are awful. When Elsa had fleas, oh my god, it spread everywhere. I was getting bitten up like crazy. It was a lot of vet trips. It was calls with the exterminator and having them come in. Once we finally got rid of them, it felt great again. Having a flea infestation is horrible. And the fact that she just doesn't even have the money for the vet bills to take care of these cats, and the cats pee and poop everywhere, so the house smells like cat pee and poop. That is disgusting. Those are not sanitary conditions for kids nor kitties to be living in, so you could also say that there's some animal neglect going around here too. The apartment is just gross and messy overall. She's even talked about how how some of her kids' clothes have gotten moldy and she's had to throw a lot of clothes out, which is also disgusting in itself. So you can see that this place is not suitable for children. And just because you are poor doesn't mean you can't have a clean home. Just because you are living in the means of poverty doesn't make you a bad parent. And poverty doesn't mean that you are not raising your kids right. But in this situation, it is clear that this is all a choice. She and her partner are choosing to do this, that they are not doing anything to get out of it. She's even said that she wants to own a tiny home one day. You cannot have a tiny house one day when you have all those kids involved. There's not going to be any space for them. They don't make smart decisions. It's all completely irresponsible. So now that I've addressed the living situation, the second part that I want to address that makes this family so problematic is the fact that they are grifting, exploitive scammers. So let's start with Andrew, her partner. So remember when I said in the beginning that he actually has another child with another baby mama of his? So let's get into that. Andrew's a deadbeat, okay? He refuses to get a job, and he will not take a W-2 job unless if he's getting paid at least $30 an hour. And let me tell you, it is quite hard to find a job that pays that much in Portland. Now, I also get it because Portland is very expensive to live, but I think he's being extremely unrealistic with what he's looking for, especially because he doesn't have any real work experience, according to what he's put out on the internet. Another reason he refuses to take a real job is because he values his time. Like, I get it. Nobody wants to work. Going to work sucks, but guess what? We got bills to pay. And you're not bringing any kind of income in to contribute to the family. He has done some driving for DoorDash or some other like food delivery service, but then he says he doesn't want to do DoorDash because it's just like a W-2. Sir, I need you to be so for real for right now because it's nothing like that whatsoever. And Stephanie also doesn't work because she wants to be at home with her kids. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a stay-at-home mother, but if you have a partner who is raising those kids with you, somebody needs to be providing that income. And guess what? This man is not even doing that because he is a lazy deadbeat. And another reason that we found out through a bunch of videos coming out is because he would prefer to take a 1099 job over W-2 job because he doesn't want to pay child support for his 12-year-old son that he left when that kid was 2 years old. A woman named Nails by Arlita came out on TikTok and literally exposed this man and the receipts on how he missed his court case last month, and that this man is behind at least $6,000 in paying child support. He doesn't want to pay that at all. It just goes to show you the character of this man, that he truly doesn't even care about his own kids, and he refuses to acknowledge why he left that child in the first place. They got on a TikTok live and he said it was none of our business. Yeah, okay. Well, when you put your whole entire business out online, people are gonna have questions because clearly you have shown that you are a shitty person for walking out on a son because you are lazy. And again, you don't want to pay child support. That's just kind of what I'm coming to along with the rest of the internet. And another thing that he did on that live is that he mentioned the name of that boy when Arlita strictly said in one of her videos, I am not gonna expose my child. I'm not going to mention his name or anything about him or what he looks like because it's for his safety and protection. And what does this man do? He goes against her wishes and says the name. And I'm just thinking, oh, you clearly do not give a shit about anyone but yourself. Let's go back to Stephanie. So Stephanie created this account, I'm going to assume because of her poor situation, and she was looking for social media to be a way to provide some income for her family, which I can totally understand. However, she went about it the completely wrong way because she started to exploit her situation and her children for views, and all she cares about is going viral. She has literally made several posts and videos talking about how excited she was for a video to go viral, or also complaining why her content wasn't going viral. And one that really disgusted me was saying that Andrew will give her more babies if her going viral helps change her financial income situation. They are not in a position to have more kids. They have no space, and it doesn't seem like they want to do anything about it to live in this one bedroom. She did say in a video that eventually she wants to move into a 2 to 3 bedroom, but I think she's just saying that due to the backlash. I don't think she actually means it. And then another thing that makes me mad about the whole grifting situation is that they have created an Amazon wish list so that they don't have to buy things for their kids, so they can rely on their followers to do that. And I can't believe that they already have over 100,000 people supporting them. I don't know why people are so blind and jaded to what these people are doing as they're being manipulated by this family to support them. And I'm sorry, if you've donated money or you have bought things from their Amazon wish list, you're an idiot. Because I don't believe that they're going to keep half the stuff that they get and they're just going to sell it to buy the things that they want to buy. Now, I did see that on their wish list that they finally did buy bunk beds because we kept telling them, get bunk beds, because there are so many ways to go about this situation. Even though it's not the best situation, there are ways that you can make this a little bit more livable and comfortable and safer for your kids. And I think bunk beds is a good place to start. But guess what? She still put the bunk beds in the freaking kitchen and the kids are still not in the bedroom. The wish list also has a bunch of unnecessary items like a ring light, these color changing light bulbs so the kids could have a dance party. I'm sorry, like your kids can have a dance party another time. Let's get your priorities straight. I did like seeing that she wanted a bunch of new clothes for the kids because those clothes had mold on them. So that was a necessary item, but there were a bunch of unnecessary items on that wish list that I just felt like they're just taking advantage of people at this point. As I stated earlier, Stephanie is also not married to this man. I don't know why she keeps calling him her hubby or her husband, but she is still married to a guy who is in jail for SAing his mother and then other young children. That says everything you need to know, right? She definitely knew that he was a predator going into this, and she keeps saying she wants to share her story, and she has yet to share her story. Whether she was in an abusive relationship with this man, you know, that's one thing, and I can see if that's why they are no longer together, but it's the fact that she still chose to be with him when she knew this going into it. So I just want to share my final thoughts with this. I get it, times are tough, okay? Being poor and living in poverty, especially in Portland, is not fun. However, there are certain things that these people could do to better their situation. As I stated before, I believe a good solution is that the parents move out of the bedroom, they take the living room, they get like a Murphy bed type situation, they get more bunk beds, and they space things out and around the bedroom, and they get more storage. I saw someone make a Sims model of their household, which I thought was really funny, but it looked 1,000 times better than what they were living in, and the apartment looked identical to what theirs already looks, and I thought to myself, this is actually a really good setup. These rooms in the Sims game look exactly around the same size and space compared to what they're living in now. So that's one thing that they could do. But I do think this whole situation is very neglectful. Yes, they are getting well fed, and yes, they have a roof over their head, but they are barely scratching surface on hitting the bare minimum. I genuinely do feel really bad for these kids, and I believe that they deserve a lot better than this. It would not surprise me when they grow up that they're gonna resent their mother and their father and their whole living situation and wanna go no contact with them later on when they're old enough. The house is still disgusting. It's messy. It's not safe. According to Oregon laws, when it comes to child neglect, that can be considered as child neglect when children are living in unsanitary conditions. And of course, I want CPS to get involved and to do something about this. Now, I know hundreds of people have made calls to Portland CPS, and I've been hearing mixed things saying that they were not getting involved, and then I'm now hearing that they've gotten enough calls that they will start an investigation. I don't know what's true. I have not personally reached out to them yet. But what I can say is that Portland CPS is not the best, unfortunately. And listen, I don't want to see this couple get their kids taken away from them. What I want to see is this couple to learn and grow from this and to make change so they can have a better living situation for their kids. I would really like to see them change and learn from this, but I'm just not confident that they're not going to, and I just see them as two selfish people who do not put their kids' best interests at heart. So those are my thoughts and opinions regarding the whole situation. Have you heard about this situation? What are your thoughts on it? Comment down below and let me know. And if you liked this video, do make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!